And today at Off Topic with Jason and Amanda, I personally ruin music, uh, basically all movies, and
All
I
movies with a
risk
happy ending.
I risk being sued into a South American country of Bolivia. And welcome to Off Topic with Jason and Amanda, my lovely wife,
Hello.
who still will not give me my child. I
don't
don't
think it's up to me.
I think that I don't. I'm just ready to have the baby. I'm.
You are?
We've had.
You
Yeah.
are?
I am. I didn't. This wasn't in a ask the gallery how they feel situation. Look, sometimes I got to pretend you're not my wife when we're having the conversation, and I got to be able to talk about things because you're a woman I trust. So I have to be like, man, what do you do when your wife won't give birth already? And you're supposed to be the neutral party. What did you have? No. Okay, good. You're not my wife.
I have nothing to add to this conversation.
No comment.
But we know we're getting closer because other signs are happening. Other things that have happened with each one of our children. I have now officially hurt myself.
Yes.
So last night, Dave, I was walking into the bedroom. We were going to watch Fly Me to the Moon. And I tripped over the big dog. But it was in such a way that my left hip was... It was dark. He's a very, very dark land shark. So you can't see him. I know he's a dolphin, but he's still a shark. And he weighs more than you do pregnant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hit him and then proceeded to...
Not hit him like you hit the dog in anger, like you tripped over him.
No, I tripped over a rock and a boulder in the middle of our bedroom that I didn't realize was at the end of our bed. And that hurt a lot. Matter of fact, it hurt so much that I'm not a whiner about pain. I generally suck it down pretty good. I laugh.
Unless you're sick.
No,
It's
I
different.
didn't say that. That's not.
You're a baby then.
Yeah, that's not pain. That's different. It's a battery recharge. Nurturing battery needs recharging.
Yeah, no pain you handle very well.
Right. No, pain I do very well with, but I do horrible being sick. So, but the good news is I'm rarely sick. So, but you're like, but we've been together a long time, honey. But injuries I've had a lot of, and I generally do really well with pain. I just kind of get through it. But last night I almost involuntarily vomited. That's how much that hurt. Because you said, you're about to throw up. And I'm like, no, I'm not. What did I sound like? You did a better.
Choking it down. Like you're like trying to keep it in. I was like, oh no.
That was not fun. But anyway, now that I'm using my cane again, we can figure out that must mean the baby's coming because
but it's gonna be at a time where you're useless and can't do anything.
That's the whole thing is that there's two possibilities because if you go in the tub, we have to have the larger of the two rooms, and there's somebody due around the same time we are, and then because if I can't fit in that smaller tub, I don't even see how you could fit in that smaller tub. I'm like, this just looks like a clawfoot tub, but you're a small woman, but I can't fit in there with you. I can fit in the big one. We tried. Sort of.
You had to do a test run.
Yeah.
Sure.
But now my hip is hurt. So the combination of the two, I'm not sure. I'm not trying to get out of this. I'm all in. I just
maybe not in the tub.
No, I don't know if I can. Like I physically can at this point. It's not very comfortable. Tub design has changed a lot over the years. They've gotten a lot better. Not your standard house. Those have horrible tubs. They're built for midgets. Hobbits. That's the only people that could fit under the shower head. Where have we ever lived where you don't walk in the bathroom and my whole head is above the shower door?
I've never seen that in any house.
It's like funny almost because I'll be in there and you come in.
Not only is your head above the shower head, but it's also above the shower door or
I look like
curtain or whatever.
I look like Will Ferrell in Elf when I'm trying to shower, just slapping
Yeah.
water up on myself to try. It's really kind of funny, but it's true. It's even worse when I was in Europe. Everybody over there really is hobbit sized. It's like, oh, that's the shower? I thought that was the bidet. This is awkward.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit, I'm a big guy, so I don't fit in, but they've changed, we've looked at it. I dream build. I dream about getting a tub built for me. Like, I got to tell you, I've read the Harry Potter books, right? Believe it or not, whatever. I read them to blind kids, but the point is I've read them, and
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. I don't
Right.
know why you're saying
someone
it like
out
it
there
is.
is making fun of me. They're like, "There's your man card." What? J.K. Rowling. She's pro women. I'm pro J.K. So, not J.K. So the whole book, like, there's all this magical stuff in it, and there was only like one thing that appealed to me, where I was, oh, I need that. It was that giant bathtub they had, right? Fill it with bubbles.
The prefect's bathroom.
Yeah. Is that how you say prefect? I've been saying that wrong the whole time. I was like, prefect. Just prefect.
Nice.
Yeah, but I literally thought that was okay. Well, I should pick up a dictionary once in a while and take a look at it, and then maybe I'd know how to say things.
Wow.
So, but I saw that bathtub described and I was like, yeah, I need that. I need like a Turkish bath, just something. It's a pool. I don't care. I'm a little bit of a conservationist, so I would want the water to somehow be recleaned and put in. But the point is that I need, like, that's my dream, is a hot tub where I can bathe, right? But I want the rainforest shower and all that stuff. But you can do that now. You can change things and make them more comfortable.
We should do that.
We should. But my thing is as we were sitting here getting ready for the show, I'm watching you, and we cannot get you comfortable right now.
No.
It is a impossibility. Like, we got producer Dave over here shoving pillows behind you.
I think I need you're gonna make fun of me for this. You know how the Care Bears have like cloud cars?
No, but tell me more. Care Bears have cloud cars?
Yeah.
Cloud, not clown.
Cloud.
Like, I'm not
Cloud.
hearing wrongly, because I've a lot of explosions I've heard.
the version that I watched as a small child, at least. I don't know about the ones now.
I don't know if they had a next generation Care Bears, the next generation, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, well, now they look weird and they're
Well,
drawn
I mean, yeah, but I'm not
differently
talking.
and
Okay,
all
right. But that's that. Right. Maybe now they have the next generation of Care Bears. They're swear bears. but back then, no, I think they just have one Care Bear. So they had a cloud car.
Yeah, but I need that as like a chair.
Why do they have cloud cars?
I don't know. They live in the sky and they slide on rainbows.
Wait, Care
and
Bears live in
drive
the sky?
Cloud cars.
Hold up.
Have you never seen the Care Bears movie?
Absolutely not.
We have children. How have you not seen that?
I block things out that are horrible. Okay. I've been able to do that for years. It's how I've survived so long.
You had younger siblings. How do you?
I did not. Care Bears were not we didn't have TV growing up. You know that. Way to rub that in. I remember Snorks. That was the last thing I remember.
Snorks.
And Jetsons. That's what I had. Flintstones. And then the TV went away. And then I didn't have anything. So I missed all of it. I missed the Power Rangers. I missed, all this stuff. But Care Bears, no, that would not have been a thing that 8-year-old me. Oh, do you have it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, see, in my head, I was imagining sort of them sitting in a little bumper car of poof. And now I see it's a Buick made of water vapor and dust.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I need, but like chair form. It just, can conform to your body, I feel like.
That doesn't look like it conforms to your body. It looks like it has upholstered seats.
Well, because it's a car, but if it was a chair,
Right.
I feel like it would have the ability to do that.
No, it's two separate things. See, in my head, when you said cloud car, that is what I imagined. I imagined they just sat on a cloud and kind of was like, go, cloud. And it was like, okay, Care Bear, whatever. I'll take you. And then now I'm hearing it's just a Buick with cloud motif.
I mean, yeah, because they have to drive it to Earth or, land.
So it's
because
got to
they're-
fit in, and everyone's like, oh, look,
No, you can't just,
covered in cotton.
float on a cloud down to the ground. You have to
I really think that
drive in something fancy.
the colorful talking bear that shoots things out of its chest probably.
So you do know the Care Bear.
I know what Care Bears are. I mean, I'm not an idiot. I didn't realize there was nomenclature, an entire civilization built up in the sky in which they had automobiles. I don't even know why they would need that. Like, is this a really large community? Is there a commute necessary to go to work? I'm just saying, like, I don't get it. They have rainbows. Isn't that apparently you just said they go down rainbows?
Yeah, they slide on them.
Right. Well, those are kind of everywhere. And I'm
How
assuming.
do you know?
Look, clouds, rainbows, edge of storms. I get it. They live in the clouds. They could ride the rainbows down. Why would they need to move around? What are they up to?
I don't know. Care Bear things?
Look, if we're going to have sky sharks,
Saving mopey children from being mopey.
if we're going to have sky sharks just floating around up there in their own little. I don't even know what their rule of law is. Do they take prisoners? Did they ever take humans up to Cloudville
That would be so awesome.
to be a prisoner of the Care Bears?
Yeah.
That's more like the Scare Bears.
It sounds like fun.
Is there like an arch nemesis where
It
they
would
have the
not
Scare
be
Bear and they
bad
like
at
go around
all.
in thunderclouds?
I don't know.
They should do that. They should do the Scare Bears and they should be on thunderclouds. That's how it should work.
I don't think so.
I want deeper meaning to this than just they come down in a cloud motifed Buick and make kids happy by doing what? Isn't one of them a lucky one? We've given our kids one. It has a little clover. So it makes the kid lucky. They win
It's
the
like
race,
Good
never
Luck
really
Bear.
actually earn anything. Sounds like a bad. I wonder the 80s kids were all messed up. I escaped. I didn't watch any of that. But I could see that a cloud seat would be more. This was my whole thing. How long have we had chairs?
Like you and
Like
I,
as a civilization.
probably a very long time.
Like, I mean, I'm sure at some point when they were watching their cave drawings, they thought, the ground sucks. I don't want to sit on it anymore.
This rock is hurting my butt.
Right. So the first natural evolution would have been another rock, right? Because you're not going to use the wood. You need that. You're wearing all of your animal fur. Like, that's the first bachelor pad that the guy was all proud of. Girl comes back and he's got his rock covered in black leather, right? And just,
So cool.
Right. And she's like, oh, that chafes a little less. I will sit here and watch cave drawings with you. He's like, oh, I spent all my money on the leather. I can't afford my fire bill. Right? I'm not sure. I remember being a bachelor. The point, oh, yes.
I think I found the chair that she's after.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, do you have a cloud chair?
Let's see it. Nice.
It just looks like a cupcake.
It looks like
It
a
does look
cat's
like a cupcake,
dream.
yeah.
I don't know what's underneath of it, but it looks like there's a bunch of needles holding up cotton. That looks like
That's exactly what it looks like, yeah.
Yeah, that looks like something from Hellraiser, the seat. So no,
But our cat would love it. Our cats.
But seriously,
multiple.
what came next? Was it like, oh, hey, I've got extra wood this year. I'll sit on this log. Hey, I noticed after I sat on that log all winter that it got a little bit smoother and more comfortable to sit in. You know what I mean? And then it was just like,
I left an indent.
Right. And then at some point, somebody fell asleep looking at the cave drawings, fell backwards off the log. And they were like, what would be helpful? If you push the log up against the wall, right? And then after that, they were, wait, we could create an artificial wall, put a backing on it so we can sit on it. Eventually, somebody came along and was, hey, you should shove some animal fur inside the seat area where you put that leather. Then we got to chairs. And then we stopped. Okay, we stopped. And this is probably because I've seen old chairs. Okay, even Game of Thrones, they had backings on those things. That's not real history. I shouldn't reference that. Even Charlemagne had a chair. I don't know if that's true. I just said that. Even Moses had a chair. I don't know my history very well. Look, I'm sure I've seen the pharaohs. They had benches and they had chairs. Because you see the guy sitting there with the animal
Xerxes
head.
had a chair.
Yeah.
That would get carried around.
Yeah, so they had chairs. We've had chairs since pretty much people, like, man, that was a long day. Right? I'd like to lean into something and sit, not on the ground. Once we elevated from the ground and that was it. And this is where we've been stuck. You were uncomfortable. And I know everyone's going to say, oh, well, there's special chairs you can get. Yeah, but why?
Why can't all chairs just
Right.
be
Why special chair? At some point, you would think people, we do a lot of sitting. And, like, even toilets are uncomfortable. I recognize you shouldn't encourage people to stay there, but I'm just saying that,
It's more comfortable than our chairs.
right, they're not comfortable. They're not. And I
Right.
know that people are like, well, what are you going to do? Upholster it? That's gross. No, I just mean, they're at a weird height. They're not, they're cold. I mean, they're functional. I get it. But we sort of reached that limit where we were like, oh, okay, it works. Now let's go figure out how to make another version of a blanket. Right? Duvet, I've got it. But it's just, but we go to chairs and they're just, which is, the other version of the toilet. But it's this thing we sit on a lot.
I hope you don't use this as a toilet.
No, I don't.
Oh, good.
I mean, we sit on it and it is not evolved. And I'm just curious why we as a civilization on things like that, like beds, we got past like, oh, you probably shouldn't use hay anymore because that brings in animals and bugs, pests, right? You nest with some rats. Then we reached a point where we were just like, oh, okay, we're good. I think we could do better. How do I know this? Because I don't sleep. And I'm really uncomfortable right now. And you're really uncomfortable right now. And I'm really kind of disappointed in humans that on certain things that we use a lot, we just kind of like, we'll slap some velvet on it and now we're good. This is still the same log that the cavemen used. You just put velvet on it. That's it. This is our advancement. And you're uncomfortable. This is me trying to solve problems for you. Somebody out there invent a chair that isn't expensive, that actually works, that is comfortable, please. We'll move on past that.
We should take the resources that people use towards improving phones to improving chairs.
Well, I don't know if there's just a line where you're supposed to grab onto technology and everybody goes, okay, we'll do it. And then so that way everybody just does it. For example, you wanted to get me one of those self-heating mugs, and it's got to be made in the USA. So you looked it up. And self-heating, like you leave it on a thing and it stays warm. Right?
Yeah.
It was like $200. And your first thought was, he's going to break that.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought was, of course I would break that. Okay? It's technology. But it can hold like 8 ounces of coffee and keep it warm. And I'm thinking, who has 8 ounces of coffee sitting around? It's like that 32nd ounce where I start going, well, I should probably start to slow down. I can hear my heart. But outside of that, it gets kind of one of those things. But if we all just agreed that, yeah, your coffee should probably stay warm. I mean, I think it's weird that we have different mugs that run this gamut of, if you put this in the microwave, you're going to get a 3rd-degree burn on your hand from the handle. And then there's other ones that, if you put anything inside it, it just instantly turns to ice. Oh, thank you. My coffee is now a mocha. Chino or whatever. But I just,
Frappuccino.
yeah. Like, let's get our crap together. We finally got the Chargers thing together. Sort of. Like, we all at least use the
Ish.
same port on the other side. Which is annoying because none of those in our car fit the ones we have. So now I just have to go buy another one until they change their minds again. I love how everybody was like, we should compromise. They're like, great, let's create something new. That'll be it. We'll all compromise by all of us having to sell something new. That's how we'll do it. As I love when people start talking about, because you're hearing some words lately, like price gouging, controls against, which is weird because one person's price gouging is another person looking at it and saying, I understand there's a low inventory of this, and therefore I need to keep the value for this because I'm also not going to sell any of this other stuff, right? That's going to sit in storage for 6 months.
Right.
I get that. People don't get that and they go, oh, well, wait, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't do you any good there's no monopoly on food. There is on food distribution in certain areas, on food production, I should say. But food distribution, we have a lot of different grocery stores and things like that. But when people start talking about limiting things like that, I worry about advancements in other stuff that we could get. You know what I mean? Like if you disincentivize. For example, if somebody said chairs can only cost $100, there's not going to be a whole lot of people going, well, there's a fortune to be made in chairs. Let me go.
They're not going to make it more comfortable.
Right. Let me go get a more. I mean, first of all, even with the incentivization of money, we still don't have comfortable chairs. So, I mean,
True.
You would just think they would automatically rotate back into a position that puts you at 0G. Every single chair. That makes the most sense. It's the most comfortable. Right? Of course, that's a weird conversation thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, I just mean like or the option to do it. I don't know. I'm too tall for our chairs. That's why I'm constantly sitting up in our show. They sink down in this one weird spot of velvet that we have. And I think about my caveman things and I'm just like, ugh, why do you stink? I'm just going to throw my leg over the end.
Should just get you a stool to put there to put your legs on.
Yeah. You're down to like 5 things you can wear.
I know.
We were not anticipating having to shoot this weekend. You're like ill prepared for this one.
Yes.
Speaking of ill communication, did you see that our little daughter, our 2-year-old, is now quoting No Sleep Till Brooklyn?
Yes.
I don't know whether to be horrified or proud.
I mean, it's kind of funny to watch her run down the hall and say it.
Well, because our kids are at the age where they hear the chorus of a song. And we don't play a lot of adult music.
Right.
We try to stick to, whatever. They have a nice rotation of classical and they have other things, but we've scrubbed most of the things that we can. But Beastie Boys got in there. Not all of it, some of it. And I started thinking it's funny because that's obviously to them when they get older. They'll look at music from when I was in my teens or 20s and they'll remember me playing it and they'll hear it and they'll be like, oh, that's a classic. It's classic rap. Dad listens to classic rock. I'm like, wait, no, classic rock is Foghat. That's classic rock. I don't listen to classic rock. I listen to whatever. And our kids are just going to be like, oh, Mom used to listen to classic pop.
Classic K-pop.
No, classic pop. She's going to be like, she had Britney Spears albums. Kids remember, oh, she was famous. She's a knife juggler. But
Leave her alone. Goodness.
But I'm saying like that's, so to us, we listen to this music, but our parents listened to, classic rock. Right?
Yep.
Like Foghat.
Like the Eagles. I don't know.
Yeah. And Foghat. Like, I don't know. I don't know a lot of bands from the 70s. Aerosmith, right? That was a band in the 70s.
Yeah.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
That is not one that we listened to growing up.
In your household?
Yeah,
You too far north. Didn't get that
maybe.
swamp life.
My dad wasn't a fan, so
Yeah, I actually think
it
that's a
was
little bit
not
earlier.
part of our CD collection.
I think that's a little bit older than your dad. I'll give him some credit. I don't think he would have been in the era when he was influenced by CCR. But the point I'm making is that when you listen to their music, it was fairly innocuous. Now you go back and, of course, I mean, like if I heard the song Strawberry Fields back then, I was thinking like, oh, Strawberry Fields. Now I'm like, oh, it's a song about drugs. How did I not see that when I was 7? Man, I was so gullible. You could have told me anything. Oh, I thought it was Care Bears. I had a cloud car. But our music, a little bit more, like, I guess we could, because it's really weird when you think about music, because you're compacting a whole decade. Or what do you consider an era of music? Because like, generations seem to be different. What's an era of music, in your opinion? Dave's going to have an official number, but is it like 10 years, 20 years, 15? Like, what do you consider a cycle?
No idea.
I think it's about 10 years. I think you go by decade and you can kind of see the transition in music.
Sure.
Dave, what's an official era in music?
Usually, I mean, officially they go by what decade the song or the album was released in.
Oh, because it's by 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of people I talk to focus more about the genre itself.
No, but 10 years makes sense. Michael Jackson went from being a kid to being an adult in 10 years, and then went from being black to being white in 10 years. So it was like, different.
I think it took him less than 10 years to do that last step.
Yeah, but in the end, what I'm saying is a different time period, right? So, just like different era of music, right? So, but our era, what would you consider your era to be? The 90s or the aughts? Or would it be like 95 to 2005 or something like that? Because I'm going to say mine would be like 1991 to 2001. That would be my era, because 1991 is when I'm first conscious of CNC Music Factory. Amazing artists. Everybody did want to dance now. It was perfect timing. La Bouche. Some people did want to be their lover. La da da dee da da da. Right. So there were lots of songs that defined the early era. There was a Scandal. Milli Vanilli was about that time, I think. Nirvana was just getting big. I was aware of Pearl Jam, that they existed, probably in like 1993. Got my first flannel on.
Nice.
Right. Not for the purpose of just keeping warm, though. Just to be cool.
No, because it was cool, yeah.
Yeah, but I knew about the Beastie Boys by then. I mean, but then you start to go in, and I had that whole era, right? And then I'd say like 2001. Now, I still listen to music, but I try to stay. I think that's what keeps you young. But I'm not a fan. Like I wouldn't say, here's my playlist at my deathbed, and throw on some.
You would have the weirdest playlist.
I would, but it wouldn't have. I'm trying to think of somebody modern on there. Wouldn't have any Taylor Swift songs on it. Let's put it that way. Right? You'd like something from the Cranberries. Probably something from Blur. The point is that that's my era.
Right.
And I can look back and pick, so you kind of shrink it down. So obviously there's a lot of hardcore gangster rap and other things that came out when I was, death metal, other things like that. And I don't play that. So my kids don't hear that.
Right.
My era is more, and I can pick and choose. So I can listen to a Cranberry song and I don't feel like I'm polluting their brain. But not everybody thinks that way. And even you, Filter, right? You've done this before because you've exposed her to some of the pop music you listen to, but you won't show her the music videos.
Right. And if there is an explicit version, I look for the radio edit version.
Right. Because you don't, right. I mean, that's the whole point. But even finding music that you sort of think of as which our kids will think of as classic pop, right? You have to kind of pick and choose.
You've done this a few times. I don't just sit around and listen to pop music.
You listen to K-pop music and
Okay.
A-pop music.
That's not a thing.
American pop music. Yes, it is. A-pop.
Don't call it that. That's weird.
Why do they call it K-pop?
So,
So? Do you listen to B-pop growing up? Spice Girls.
J-Rock.
Yeah. Japanese rock and roll. I know exactly what you were talking about as soon as you said it. Why is this a weird thing? It only get weird if you were like B-rock and everyone was like, Belgium? I'm confused. That would be it. You know, I mean, I
But
rock.
like pop music is not like
Iran,
my
Iraq.
thing.
Right. Well, it's not.
So
No,
I
it's,
don't know why you.
okay. But the music that sort of was your thing, you don't listen to anymore in
Yes, I do.
comparison to. In comparison to like total time.
Okay, being perfectly honest, when do I ever have time to listen to music that isn't
Related to the
around
kids?
children? Yes.
I mean,
I don't drive around by myself.
I don't know.
So
I
you never
mean-
hear me listen to music because
Yeah, but I don't listen to. That's why I choose music without words, so that way I don't have to worry about what the kids are listening to. Yeah, no, but I'm saying you do put on music, but it's usually kid friendly, and usually it's pop music. You don't have like a whole lot of other songs you whip out, and they're
because
just
that's what they enjoy, not because I'm like, oh my god, I love pop music.
Can you edit out that part where she just says that? You take out the part where she says I don't say, and just have her just say that. Make that the intro to every one of our shows. I think it's funny because it makes me wonder what girls talk like around you. Because your impression of just the average girl.
No, I feel like that's what you
is-
think of me.
But that's your impression
Of-
tells me
That's my impression
of what you think I thought girls were like.
Yeah,
That's
for me, I don't
that's
know.
deep. Like, I'm impersonating a thing that you would imagine. I think you would imagine. What? I'm so confused. I don't have Valley girls. I never grew up around them. You would have to throw on like a Puerto Rican accent or something in order to sit here and have me get confused because that's what I consider your formative
I
years.
don't have enough of the spice to be Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I think 7th grade
Pull
through
off that.
11th grade is like your formative years because I think by senior year you're too preoccupied with I'm going to be an adult, and whatever, and that's a completely different formative set of years, right? So, if I don't know, let's say I went to Canada and went to late middle school and all of high school there, I would basically consider myself Canadian. This has nothing to do with anyone. You know that Kamala lived in Canada for like 7 years?
Why would I know that?
Well, now you know. 7 years, Canada.
Why?
Because her mom was teaching socialism somewhere, probably. I don't know. That might be slander. I don't know what her mom taught. Microbiology.
Microaggression.
Yeah, I'm going to throw out some other stuff so that way at least I don't sound like I'm just being mean. Mathematics. Wait, she was Indian. Mathematics. So it's possible. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, the point is, I was just throwing that out there because I found out that factoid and wanted to. But I think about music people listen to now, right? And man, imagine being in Canada during that time frame. What kind of music you would have? Rush. That's it. Just
Yeah,
played
that's
Rush
awesome, though.
nonstop. Yeah, but that's it. And Stompin' Tom.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, he's a folk singer from Canada.
Okay.
Stompin' Tom, look him up. It's a real person. I think he died. I got to see him perform in Canada. It's the most Canadian thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
No, they built
It's
this.
not impressive.
They built this Globe Theater for the movie, Romeo and Juliet, or whatever, some movie that Shakespeare in Love or something like that.
I love that movie.
Well, they built the theater up in Canada, and then they kept the theater afterwards, so you could go in there and watch. So I went and watched Stomping Tom, which was a Canadian. You are not impressed by this.
No.
That's my point. There you go. Okay, so, but you think about it.
I'm more impressed that you went to the theater where Shakespeare in Love was
I
shot.
think that was in Nova Scotia. Yeah. Yeah.
See,
So
that part's cool.
it was not cool. It's the weirdest thing. Felt like I was in a cult. So Canadians are cult members. Why do you all find this amusing? It's just a guy sitting around telling stories, playing a guitar.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. I was like, man, it's like
Pass.
being at summer camp. There's just woods everywhere around us, and everybody's listening to a guy in the center by a fire. Anyway,
Probably surrounded by what are bears called?
land sharks,
Yes.
just full of land sharks. Canada's full of land sharks, huge ones. You're not allowed to go anywhere near them. They have polar land sharks way up north. It's true. They eat sea kittens.
What's a sea kitten?
Oh, baby seal. They don't want really anything to do with us, but they like us. They're playful.
And they're
If they're
cute.
in the mood. Yeah, and they're cute. Yeah. I thought we figured this out the other day.
I don't think we went
Oh.
over sea kittens.
Yes.
But I like it.
Fact check coming. Oh, no, we don't?
You were correct on Stompin' Tom.
Oh, that he exists?
Well, not anymore.
Oh.
That's what you were. I was going to say you were correct about is that he no
That's
longer
depressing.
exists.
The fact check was that he died.
Yeah.
None of the other cool stuff about the globe or just nope. Yeah, he's dead.
He
Jeez, producer Dave. Wow.
I'm trying to make things happy.
Well, now we're in a light mood. How about a moment of silence for Stompin' Tom? Be still, my Canadian heart.
You're not Canadian. So
If I had some maple syrup, I'd pour some out for you, buddy. Stompin' Tom was, national treasure that they kept hidden in their
Okay.
vault. But you're going to grow up and you're going to listen to music of your youth. It's natural, right? Because it helps you, you enjoy it. It's familiar. It's comforting, right? You listen to A-pop, K-pop, other things like that. It's all B-pop, and you feel comfortable with it. But you didn't really listen to any particular type of music, I think, that you still listen to regularly. That if you were
I
to
don't listen to music.
right, that you listen to regularly, that when the kids are older and you're gonna have time to put on albums, are you going to go and all of a sudden be like, wow, I remember that death metal concert I went to. Let me throw that on the...
It's probably going to be more like alt rock, pop punk, or emo.
Okay, so you're almost like the Postal Service.
No.
Okay, give me a band.
I mean, yes, but no.
No, but
Dashboard
yes.
Confessional.
Okay, yeah, right. So you have Dashboard Confessional, and your kids are going to come in and be like, oh, mom's sad and cleaning again. Wish Dad was still around. We didn't have to listen to this. Just sounded like a computer in here. But if you turned around and we did that, we have a very upset 2-year-old, it sounds like.
Yes.
It's a good thing we have Grammy and Grumpy here. But if we turned around and started playing, that music, it's not going to be, no one's going to look at you weird. You're driving down the freeway in California at 1 mile an hour, the windows down, blasting Dashboard Confessional. No one's going to look over and say,
I'd have to be in a certain mood for that.
whatever you're playing, New Republic, Blink 185. They don't pay me for promotions. But you're listening to him. Might be another iteration, but you're listening to him. No one's going to look over and just be like, oh, what a crazy old lady. They're going to be like, that's old music. What are all these people who listen to like gangster rap? Assuming you're not truly a gangster, because then you probably don't live old enough to, blast your music. You've blasted away yourself. But the idea that you're in there and you're riding down the freeway and you start hearing NWA and you look over and
There's a 65-year-old.
Yeah, there's a 65-year-old man sitting over there bouncing his car next to you. You're like, doesn't that hurt your arthritis? He's like, yes. Worth it. Right? But you know what I mean? Like, I think we've reached a point where music has gotten a little bit. I mean, it's not like a Marvin Gaye "Let's Get It On" and everyone's like, "Yeah, I know what that is," But the kids are still like, "Oh, well, I don't know what that means." You throw that on, I could see you'd be like, "Oh, well, that's a little bit inappropriate," but nobody really gets it. It's not like you put on the whole Marvin Gaye album where he talks to you, but you put on
Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
Let's get physical.
Wait, what? What? What is that about? Is that like "Let's get physical"?
Yeah.
Physical. Isn't that about working out?
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was like phys ed,
Sure, we'll go with that.
like playing dodgeball. I wanna get physical education. I don't know. I didn't. I was just before my era. Olivia Newton-John did music.
Yeah.
Oh, I just knew her from that film where she dies in the beginning and then floats
You
away
need
in
to
a car.
Stop ruining that movie for everyone. Just stop. I'm so mad at you. Just
Because
stop.
she's drowned?
Just stop it. Stop it.
What?
Stop it. Stop it.
You can't watch that movie anymore?
No.
Because it completely makes sense that everybody just breaks into song all the time.
Still mad at you.
Perfect senior year. Drives off into the
If
clouds.
you love the movie Grease,
she
stop
borrow
watching this right now.
Did she borrow the Care Bear car at the end? Is that what happened? When they floated off into the clouds? Was that why she was going off to join their little village? Olivia Newton-John got a little John Travolta thing on her chest that she would push and make him appear and dance. I'm just curious. The movie makes sense. It makes way more sense.
I'm not going to participate in this conversation.
I've not ruined this movie for you. It's like when somebody sits here and says The Sound of Music is so great, and I'm like, yeah, but they're not wearing jackets. I mean, that's their plan. They ran off into the Austrian Alps not wearing jackets. That isn't a happy ending. That ends 4 days later. Okay? I'm just saying, like, that's the reality of watching that movie. And then everyone's like, oh, it's such a heartwarming
So now you're
movie.
ruining The Sound of Music for me, too.
You have not thought about this and thought about what that really means? What do you think happens to Old Yeller? Have you seen the end of that?
Yes.
Okay, so at least you know what happens to that dog.
Yes.
I haven't seen the end. Don't spoil it for me. I'm just saying, when I watch some of these films, it's not that I'm not pro, whatever. Like, hey, at least, whatever. I'm not trying to sit here and be a Debbie Downer. I'm not.
You're very good at it when you don't try.
We saw a film yesterday. We actually got to see a movie together. We saw Fly Me to the Moon. We've been wanting to see that. And I know we caught Hollywood, but we wanted to see it. And so we saw it. And
from our house.
Yeah. It was pretty woke free. A little bit of crassness in some areas, but it was a good movie, I thought, right? I thought it was pretty, I don't want to say story accurate. I have no idea. But I did like that they left some conspiracies open, right? It was pretty funny.
Kind of fed him a little bit.
Yeah, they fed him. I'm like, oh, there's some squirrels getting released in here. Like at least a dozen. But they ended the movie a bit too long.
Yeah.
I was like, this should be the end of the movie. And then they had another epilogue. And you're just kind of like, oh, I didn't need this because it wasn't a rom-com.
Right.
So I didn't need to see.
It didn't add anything.
Right.
It was just like, okay, that was an extra 5 minutes.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing I wouldn't have been happy just assuming would have happened. So I try to look at movies that way and just think, oh, I like to think positive thoughts or what would characters have done. And everybody imagines everything. But there's a lot of films that we put out there where, you see the hero wandering off with 4 gunshot wounds. And they're just waiting to see how the box office does to know if they're going to make a sequel or not,
Yep.
But he's dead.
Unless they make a sequel.
Well, right. But I mean, but he's dead. Okay, like if it wasn't for you loving the character so much, they'd be dead. We got to stop treating these movies like just because they made a sequel, they're like, no, he's dead. John Wick died at the end. Okay. That's just the reality of that film. You don't like suddenly perk up after getting shot in the liver.
You're not John Wick, so I
That's
don't know.
true, but that's true.
They didn't make a movie about you.
I'm just saying that I don't go into the end of a film and watch
With
it and
happy
think,
thoughts.
no, I just mean I'm a little bit more realistic about it. You know what I
You
mean?
just like to ruin the happy endings.
I mean a little bit. Not really. It's not that. I'm just a realist. That's all. Like, look,
No one goes to the movies for reality.
I get that. But here's the thing. Daniel goes and he wins the Tri-Valley Karate Tournament. Okay?
Oh my goodness.
Who cares? Like, you're not suddenly the most popular kid in school. There was like 3 people that did karate and they already had dirt bikes. So they were already one up on you. Right? So they did karate and dirt bikes. You're just karate kid. You're not the cool kid. You're the karate kid. I gotta tell you, if I was walking around school and everyone's like, that's the karate kid, I wouldn't be like, that's cool. I'd be like, what? So he does karate? Yeah, it's his thing. You know what I mean? Who's that over there? That's the Cornhusk doll girl. I would know what that is, right? What's up, Butter Turner? So, not a well-rounded kid. I forgot why I got on the Karate Kid thing. Oh, yeah. So I just assumed at the end of the story that he takes a little trophy home and his mom's like, that's nice, dear. Can you take out the garbage? No, I want to go hang out with the drunk guy who has PTSD. That sounds good. Right? I'm just saying.
Goodness.
Everyone's all like, oh, the other kid must have bummed out. I'm like, he was obviously a rich kid. He had a dirt bike in the 80s. What? Did you ever see a film in the 80s where a kid had a dirt bike and they were poor? No, it was something that was obviously lorded over every single person who didn't have a dirt bike. I know this. I lived through the 80s. Okay. That was a status symbol. He had a real costume where he was in a shower.
What?
Yeah, you got a Ford face makeup. Yeah, have you not seen The Karate Kid?
Yes.
Yeah. You could get to
I'm just seeing it through your eyes now.
Are you? Like, let's just be fair here about this kid. He leaves New York. He has an annoying accent and a habit of kicking fences. Right? And he can read a book about karate, and then he goes out and wins a tournament nobody cares about. There's a lot of people at the tournament. Yeah, notice they were all wearing uniforms. They were participants and their parents. They were forced to be there. Let's be fair about it. That wasn't like his high school showed up and was like, yeah, get him, Daniel-san. You know? I was like, yay, you were good. You won because of penalty points. Penalty points and a weird bird kick. That's the story. His life doesn't... I didn't end that story and think he must have gone on and become a surgeon. He surely learned more about karate and became karate man and roamed the earth solving crimes. Like, it was just like, oh, cool. You won a trophy. Is that depressing? I don't see a happy ending in that movie. There's many, many movies where I was just like, oh.
That's it.
Yeah. Like, I watched Predator and I was doing, he kills everything, and I'm just thinking, like, well, now you're in the middle of the jungle. You know? I mean, there's no really then they show it when they do the sequels too. Aliens, she gets out of there. As soon as they start Alien 3, they killed off everybody. Well, isn't that nice? Just saying. At least I left the end of that movie thinking, hey, 3 people lived. They're like, nah, we killed the kid. She got older before we could make a sequel. Can't age in hypersleep. That would be weird. Much better that we killed off the child and dumped Ridley on a prison planet. That's a movie I can get behind. It's depressing. But I'm saying that, you know, like it's the end of the movie, at least she was left with some positivity. Even part one. They start off part two and she's like unemployable. Well, ain't that a trick? It's true. So Olivia Newton-John drowns. You're not happy with this conversation. I can see it.
You're just ruining movies.
I'm not ruining movies.
Bummer.
I am not a bummer. I'm not.
You're a huge bummer.
I don't go after things you love. It's not like I'm sitting here and starting to belittle Lord of the Rings or anything like that. Just saying. You're the one that finds plot holes in Harry Potter. Like, you know what I don't understand?
Well, that's movies versus books.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
They're remaking that into a full... Do you think they're going to be able to do that?
I don't know. Part of me says no, because there's certain characters you can't replace. And I know we had that conversation the other day, but...
I think even if you can get past the wokeism that they've injected into all of it, it's hard because I'm too old to watch a TV series about Harry Potter. Not gonna... if I have a limited amount of time...
Yeah.
There's so many more things between homeschooling and between news cycles and between things we're doing in our community and work and other things. That's not how I'm going to divvy up my time. But I would love for it to be better for our kids than the other movies seem to have been in comparison to the books. Like, that would be neat if they could do that, because they're really messing up Lord of the Rings over in, from what we saw from Amazon, because none of it made any sense. Because they couldn't... I guess because they don't own the word Hobbit. And like Marvel not being allowed to say mutant. So it was just like, well, we'll just make up a word for them. What are they? Smurfs.
Snorks.
Yeah, they're snorks. Why are they called snorks?
Snorks.
Because we owned that copyright already. That's a speedy snork. And that's a witch snork. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? Buy 20th Century Fox? Yes, that's how that happened. I don't want to ruin all those movies because I can already do that. They did it themselves. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can see that funny video before we watch where I like the redubbing videos. I do like when, I'm starting to realize I actually genuinely like when people redub politicians talking.
Yeah.
Doing the thing where they all, you know, what are they murmuring about all the time? Because they're all a bunch of jerk faces, right? I mean, they act like they hate each other, but you know they hang out after work and stuff. I almost said after school. They all go out and get cocktails together, and they're all like, hey, I love you. I love you. Then they go out on camera and like, I hate them. Like, I hate them too. Wink.
Happy birthday.
It's got to be so. That was the one thing when I ran. I was like, hey, we talked about that, remember? Like, are they going to expect you to go do the circuit? To go around and pretend you want to be friends with everyone? I was like, God, I hope not. It's like, they're not going to like me. I'm like, it's nice to meet you. And who is this? Not your wife? Because I've been in the hotel bars down there. You know, you go out there to look to see who's who. You're just like, oh, man, this place really does suck. I know the end of that movie.
Don't ruin it.
It doesn't end like Pretty Woman. A lot of people won't believe that. It's like why we don't talk about certain things, you know, where you're like, oh, well, you know. They sort of do have some insight into Hollywood and to DC more than I want, let's say. They're like, oh, you should talk about that. I'm like, well, just, you know, everything you guys have heard, it's true. So there you go. That's it. You mean everything? I don't know. What's your level of everything? Probably? Like, it's close enough. It's pretty bad. They are not good people at all. They do not like you. They don't care, and they use up people. It's pretty bad. But it is interesting to be around it, nonetheless. It's like watching movies in real life, but with worse actors.
True.
Where, again, I know the ending. But yeah, kind of hard to talk about it all the time. Get myself sued into oblivion. Bolivian? Can you be sued into a South American country? See people do that. I'm like, I know they're being funny, but I want to know if it's true. Is Bolivia a bankruptcy hideout?
Ooh, you can start a new conspiracy.
Yeah, like come to Bolivia when you've lost everything, but there's still hope. What do we do? Break up rocks? I don't know. Like, it's, if I got sued into Bolivia, poor man, can we get him a plane ticket back? I really liked him. Right? Just everybody down there. 2 pharma companies and Alex Jones. That's it. And somebody who made tri-wheelers. What are they called? Trikes? The 3-wheelers?
Yep.
Yeah. Whoever invented that and the trampoline and Alex Jones are all down in Bolivia. That's it.
Former National Security Advisor Lieutenant General Michael Flynn pleaded guilty today to lying to the FBI.
He was one of the most respected generals in the military.
Every American needs this historical DVD keepsake. Flynn delivered the truth, whatever the cost. Hand signed by General Michael Flynn. Order now at the Patriot TV store. Use promo code PTV at checkout to get special savings. The Patriot TV store, a secure, hassle-free shopping experience.